What is a custom class? Oh, classes are what we can make objects from, and we did see a what is about that. But this is now a custom class where we get to make our own class. How exciting. So in JavaScript, here's what a class looks like. Var game is equal to a function. Ta-da! There's a class. Now we could also make the class like so, function game, like that, and that is also a class. Now in ECMAScript 6, JavaScript 6, we get a class keyword, so it's a little bit different, but in the JavaScript we're using for the what is series, that is a class, function game. Now we make a new object from that class by saying var game is equal to a new game. We use capital letters to denote the class, and we use the new keyword to make a new object from that game class. And then we store the new object that we've made in a variable called game so that we have access to it later. So the class gets a capital letter, the variables get your normal camel casing. Now we can store properties and methods on the class, like so. We use the keyword this dot player is equal to Dan Zen, for instance. And then when we run the game, we can access that property. We can zog the game dot player, like so. And if we save this and run it in a browser, and view the console, Dan Zen is set. So the player property of the game that we made has Dan Zen in it. So what happens is when we use the new keyword, it runs this function, and it takes any this and applies the value on there, the properties on it, and their values to the object that is made. All right, in this case, game. And we can also store methods on here. This dot play, for instance, is equal to a function. So a method is just a function stored on the object. And in this function, we can zog for when we're playing. And then we can make this game be played, game.play, like so. So we run the function, we run the method on the game object. And we save this and check it out in a browser, refresh. Dan Zen, I'm playing, you can tell I'm playing. Cool. Now we can make another game, var game2 is equal to a new game. You know what though, we want a different player, for instance, so, oh, that's too bad. Dan Zen seems to be the only player. Well, we can take Dan Zen from here. Oops. We can take Dan Zen from where? We can take Dan Zen from here and pass it in as a parameter. And when we pass it in as a parameter, we can collect it in as a parameter there, n, for the name, and assign it like so. So now we pass in a certain player, gets collected in the parameter n, and then assigned to the player property. So in the second case, we'll have my friend Raj play. About my brother Raj play. Dan Zen. And then we can zog game2's player. Game2's player. So we're using the same class to make these games, but there's different objects. So game will have a certain player name, and game2 will have a different player's name. And when we refresh here, there it is, Dan Zen. Dan Zen plays. Raj Zen, oh, not playing. So that's interesting, isn't it? Game.play is only activating the first game object that we made. Nothing has yet played the second game object. So we'd have to go game2. These things work independently, don't they? Play. Now the second game will be being played. And there it is. Danzen ya-ya-yas and Raj. Now Raj is ya-ya-yaing. Isn't that super duper? So that's how we store properties on a class. And this is how we store a method on a class. There's a few other things we can do. We can have private properties too, or they're just variables. We can have getter-setter methods and static classes. So there's a few other things that we'll take a look at in future what-is that relate to custom classes. I am inventor Dan Zen here at zimjs.com. Have a great day.